going to be the preliminary round #1 for the 20th version of the PIC. 20 versions, Marina, can you believe it?
Yeah, a whole lot of 10 years, 1 decade.
Whole
That's
lot of
great.
10 years. Yeah, one lot of 10 years, I think, isn't it? Well, we promised you a couple of things. I'm not sure I can promise you won't have jokes today, but we'll try and speed through. We run this quite efficiently, so let's have a look at the rules, right? So each innovator will have 3 minutes to pitch. That's a hard stop at three. We'll then actually have one question from one of the dragons. You have 3 slides and 3 dragons. We call this 3 cubed, a little bit of math there for you. Who are the dragons? Well, here they are. You'll see two of them on today. So I'd like to welcome Veronica Skaya, Peter Reynolds, and Tommaso Rossi. And you're joined by myself, Dave Ruan, and Marina Pancheva. So
Great to
we'll
be
be your
here,
hosts.
really.
So, what are we going to be doing? Well, this is the order of business. So, Adéṣínà, we'll get you ready to go because we're going to ask you to join us real soon. And you should know where your place is in this crowd. Wish you all the best of luck. And when you come on stage, please, camera on, unmute yourself. We'll cue you in. Great. Without further ado, Adéṣínà, I'll ask you to join the PIC stage.
Thank you very much. My name is Adéṣínà, as Dave has said. So I'm presenting my project called TermLog. Next slide, please. So TermLog, it's a platform to create standardized equivalents in Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, which are the three major Nigerian languages. So we're working in domains. So we're coining terminologies for virtually all domains, all registers, medicine, engineering, finance, and what have you. If you look at the slide, the slide, you would see that on the left you have mistranslation, which is what we see in most of these AI generated translations and CAT tools. But what we are doing in TermLogs, we are doing the traditional human translation, which includes using the nuances and the cultural idiosyncrasies to create terminologies. Next slide, please. How does it work? So what we do is we curate terminologies, we gather terms in English, then we ask our linguists, the experts, which are they are all volunteers, to do what they know how to do best, human translation. So we we coin new terminologies for all um, domains or registers. Then after we've done doing that, we ask people to volunteer by voting for their best. So the long-term goal is to standardize these terms. The next slide, please. So TermLog is already delivering value. Just recently, we partnered with the Nigerian Institute of Translators and Interpreters to localize, to partner with them to have these terminologies standardized. So we'll be having a national conference soon to do that. So TermLog is being used by students of linguistic to practice and to learn how to do decomposition, which is one of the features of the TermLog profile, TermLog website. You see the decomposition of terms. So we don't just put up terms there, we decompose it and see how it is being formed. In the past 5 months, we've had 500 new terms logged and we've had 20 new contributors. Yes, that is what I have to present now. And I think that's it from us here.
Thank you very much. I think that was very clear. Apologies about the gremlins. You got a few of them there. But that was a really good pitch. Let's see if we have a question. Veronique, do you have a question?
Sure, Adéṣínà, thank you very much. Very exciting innovation. First question, how do you handle moderation? So who
Yes.
decides once you've defined the term of that this is the translation we should use in this domain for this term?
Yes. So what we are doing at this phase is just to collate those suggestions. So like I mentioned earlier, there's a discussion going on in the pipeline with the Nigerian Institute of Translators and Interpreters, which is one of the superior or the organization covering translation and interpreter in Nigeria. And under this NITI organization, there are other organizations under them, lecturers, linguistics, and what have you, other bodies that has to do with languages. So we are hoping to have a conference soon. That's why I said there's a conversation going on with NITI. So at this conference, we bring these terminologies to the table and people say, yes, this should be the right one, or let's take this out, or let's add this. So that is the plan, to standardize those terms.
Very good, thank you. Do I have time for one more question?
Sure, go on.
And then, to what extent can you leverage what's already happened, I would say, in the commercial world? Because you've got companies that have, gone into Nigeria, sold products, right, and localized these products. To what extent do you leverage this?
Yes, that's right. Because last year I worked on a project as well, No Language Left Behind by Facebook, and I was a reviewer, and we noticed so many mistranslation. And one of the things we proposed to Metal was for us to have this reviewed, and they said it's late now because they've actually put those data into their algorithms. So back to your question, what we do is some of those terminologies are also included in our database. So we go to those organizations that have already coined terms in the past. So we include them in the database, and we also add new ones. So the fallout is going to be at the conference, the national conference, which we are trying to do with the Nigerian government and NITI, is for us to bring those terminologies together, bring them to the fore, and say, okay, this was created in the past. This is the new one. Going with the deformation and the morphology of the term, what do you think we should select? And we pick that, and we create more content with that, and we publicize it.
Thank you, Adéṣínà.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's move on. This was very exciting. We heard about Africa, how to deal with lower resource languages. Now we are changing continent, and let me invite to the stage Muhammad Ikram, who is going to talk about redesigning localizations for emerging markets in Asia and Africa as well, but also Asia. Muhammad, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Thanks. My name is Muhammad Ikram. I have been working in the localization industry for over 2 decades now, and today I will talk about a big problem in the industry. And the problem is in the many parts of Asia and Africa, people use Windows, Android, most of the internet in English. It is not because those operating systems, those apps are not available in the local languages. They are available. They have been available for a long time. But still people prefer the international English version. That is true for 2 billion people in South Asia and even beyond South Asia. So my work has revealed that the reason is the language used in the translation from the very beginning has been very pure. So I call it the purest localization model. So what is purest localization model is the language used is based on the written standard language, while people do not use that kind of language in their everyday interaction with the technology. And that has left a huge part of the globe forced to use internet and the technology in English. And the gap is, the number comes from the UNO research, that gap is so huge that there are almost 4 billion people which are using internet and technology in English instead of their local languages. Although these are available in Indic languages, Windows, Android, and everything available in Indic languages and many other Asian and African languages. Next slide, please. So this problem happened in the beginning when Microsoft started localization like 3 decades ago. But the problem has persisted for a long time. And why it has persisted is because of how the industry is set up. Industry is set up to deliver a very fast and scalable translations based on the very well-defined guidelines and glossaries. But if there is something wrong in the glossary or the style guide, the system doesn't have the ability to self-correct, and that problem has persisted due to because the linguists and language service providers, they have been using the same model, and that model has been in place, and it has been used again and again by most of the tech companies. And one reason for it is being used constantly is because the non-adoption of the tech has been misread. It has been misread as people don't want, maybe people prefer English version, and the data has been misinterpreted by this logic that maybe people don't want the localized version, although the real problem was people were rejecting that archaic, that unusable language. So that is the reason the problem has persisted, and it is still going on, and it is present in most of the tech and the internet that we see today in these markets. Next slide, please.
Yeah, we're actually just on time. So Mohammed, if you could wrap up.
Yeah, sure. So what is the solution? The solution is, instead of using the standard written language, we have to use the real spoken language, the way people speak in their everyday language, in their everyday lives. First step will be to revise the glossary, and the next step will be to revise the language itself based on the revised glossary. So that is the solution, and it will unlock like a whole new world for the 4 billion people in Asia and Africa. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks for moving past the end. I think it was very clear. Let me check with Peter, one of our dragons, if he has a question.
Sure.
Peter?
Sure.
Thank you very much for this. Can I ask, is this used in practice, and what sort of benefits are you getting from the use of this system?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How is this being used in practice, and what sort of benefits are you seeing?
Yes. So the one benefit is people are not able to interact fully with the technology because the large part of population in these markets is not very well versed in English. They are forced because they don't have any other option. The localized versions are even difficult to use than the English versions. So it will increase the engagement, it will increase the user trust, and it will increase the online activity. So many people are reluctant to engage with the technology. The fintech suffers, the trust suffers. So one aspect is that it will gain the trust. It will let the people really engage. And the other aspect is that many people can't even understand a lot of the processes, on online processes and the technical processes that are involved. Even people struggle at login and sign up stage because of the language barrier.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Mohammed. That was very interesting. So we moved from Africa, low-resource languages, to Asian low-resource languages. And maybe you thought that won't get more exotic, but in fact, our next speaker will bring us even more interesting language case, because Michail Xynos will talk about how they translated 10 million words of ancient Buddhist scripture into English. Michail, the floor is yours.
Yes, hello. I'm Michail Xynos. I used to be the owner of the translations. Our company was sold to Alpha CRC, and I stayed with them because of AI. I'm helping with the AI development. So 2024, we started investigating how we can translate the Pali Canon into multiple languages. That is my personal project, and Alpha embraced it. They found it's very interesting. And by developing this methodology, we have solved how you can use AI to translate a very big amount of words, let's say 8 million words or 10 million words, having consistency in terminology and consistency in stock phrases. The Pali canons depends on stock phrasing, so that means it must be repetitions of specific concepts. That is impossible with the AI as is. People who have used AI, they know if they want to translate, let's say, 50,000 words, every time let's say you use API, okay, every session in the AI is like having a different translator. So that means the same phrase, it will be translated in a different way, because AI is not a deterministic system. I say it's a chaotic system. So basically, you don't know what you're going to get. What we have developed is dynamic prompting using examples from previous translations of the same project, picked up by using Engram technology. And of course, we started lemmatizing it, creating a master. Well, I have to say it very fast because it's quite complicated. We have created initially a master glossary, a master dictionary, edited by expert Pali scholars in Greek and in English. We had the opportunity to have both languages. Then we use this dictionary as feeding examples for each phrase we sent to the AI. The result was to have the 8 million words at a high consistency. That means that the same term was translated the same way throughout the corpus. The same with stock phrasing. This we believe that this can help in the future when we have to deal with let's say control languages, text, medical text, perhaps EU text. Our company is doing this, and of course we will have the opportunity to translate the Pali Canon, which is not commercial, into multiple languages. We know the Bible and the Quran are translated in many languages. So basically, the people in the world, they have access to this. But the Pali Canon, the original Buddhist teachings are not available, because the Pali Canon was not fully translated into English for the last 150 years. So that's the first time, I think it's an historic event. For the first time, we managed to translate the total of the Pali Canon and the root text, and now we're about to translate the commentaries and the sub-commentaries into English and into Greek and to other languages. So
we'll have to stop you there, Michael. The 3 minutes runs quickly.
Problem.
Sorry for stopping you mid-sentence. We will take a question, though, so maybe that can help you.
May I
to
ask
develop
one
that.
question? May I? I'm a linguist and I'm so excited about this. So just a very good
cool.
question, Michael. Can this methodology be used for other ancient scriptures and other languages? Like I'm thinking Akkadian, you know, the Code of Hammurabi. What would it take?
I believe so, and it's interesting that when I started doing this, I was experimenting, and we managed to translate from Pali. Pali is a simplified Sanskrit, okay, it's Prakrit language, simplified Sanskrit. So we translated from Pali into ancient Greek. It was possible. We can translate, let's say, from Pali into Latin. Okay.
Right. The question was, can you translate from non-Pali into Greek, other ancient, you know, text using the same methodology?
I have not tested, but I think it is possible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck with that. That's incredible news, isn't it, Dave? Pali Canon had to wait for 2,500 years to get translated, but not every text can actually wait for that long. Sometimes you really need to have instant translations. And our next innovator, Vladimir Zhdanov from Alibaba, is going to talk to us about instant and bias-free translations and content generation as well.
Okay, hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, my name is Vladimir Zhdanov. I have master's degree in translation and I worked in translation field for almost a decade. But today I'm building AI localization solutions for Alibaba International. It's okay, can you hear me guys?
We can.
We hear you beautifully. Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so currently I think many companies treat AI localization and translation as an engineering task. Engineers build a black box, AI generates content, linguists are brought at the end of the pipe to fix errors. I think this creates a passive and reactive role for linguists. They have no agency over how the content is created. And this is dangerous, I think, because if the job is just the fixing AI mistakes, then new talent will avoid the industry. So we're facing a potential collapse of the expert talent pool. So I think we need to stop treating linguists as like downstream reviewers and make them upstream architects. So our innovation isn't the technology itself, of course. It's LLMs and low-code chains already exist. Our innovation is the operational shift. So we give linguists the tools, education, and freedom to build and own these AI workflows themselves. So instead of waiting for the engineer, linguists will design the chains themselves. They use their deep language expertise to craft a precise prompt, connect the relevant knowledge base, insert code-based rules for strict constraints like character count. Thankfully, AI can write code for us, non-programmers. Then test, review, iterate the sequence until the output matches the business need. I believe that chains of steps is a lot more controllable and consistent rather than just prompt engineering with just this one huge prompt. Breaking down the content production pipeline into smaller isolated steps is a little bit harder to architect, but a lot more controllable and reproducible. Because linguists understand the nuance of the target market, so they are the best people to adjust the rules. They're not just writing text, they engineer in the logic of communication. Next slide, please. So I think this approach, it requires initial investment in training and tooling. It's by our experience, it's slightly more expensive in the short run, but in the long term, the payoffs are quite massive because for the business, you get scalable, agile content engine or system that adapts instantly with the help of linguists to these new products or new requirements without the engineering bottlenecks. And for the linguists, they regain agency because you become the content architect. You are a strategic partner rather than just a replaceable executor at the end of the pipeline. So this sustains the talent pool because people have some meaningful job to do here. It ensures that as AI grows, the value of human linguistic expertise would grow with it. So basically, we're building sustainable future where human designs the intelligence and the AI executes the mass production part. That's the short presentation I could fit in 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Great on time. Thank you. Great ideas. Veronique, do you have a question?
Brilliant. I love the flip from downstream to upstream. Thank you, Vladimir. My question, so when you scale this across 20 markets, thousands of assets, what can break first?
Just a tiny bit of a context here. So I'm working at Alibaba AliExpress and we deal with a lot of content. I'm not talking about like product title translation, but still we have a massive amount of stuff like banners, push, or some product like the user interface. Usually what breaks is the most vulnerable part, I would say, is not every single linguist here are ready to take on the architect role. I see, unfortunately, also many people who clinch to this role of, I'm just writing the text, guys, let me review the text, which is okay, but I think this job might cease to exist in a few years, if not earlier than that. So I really urge linguists to take on this step. And also, I see that this caveat of business who think so in terms of improving efficiency, making it cheaper, not realizing how painful it is, how they hurt the business in the long run. So this is what we're trying to do in our team, to break this vicious cycle of business improving efficiency by replacing humans with AI, living with no humans at all, and the thing will collapse in the end. So yeah, humans will break, but those who survive, I think, will prosper.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Vladimir.
Thank you, Veronique. Thank you, Vladimir. I love this idea of, making linguists own the AI workflows and craft their own prompts. And our next innovator actually takes this even further. Let me invite Antonio Tejada, who is gonna talk about LanguageLine AI Translation app, which is a self-service translation platform.
Hi, guys.
Antonio.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you found your voice. We are happy.
Oh, thank you. That's good. So I think the biggest innovation for me is trying to keep something on 3 minutes. So I did time my slides. So Dave, once you hit go, we're going in 3 minutes and the slide should go automatically. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. So translation is becoming AI first almost by default. But inside large organizations, this is creating a new problem. Self-service AI somehow is decentralizing localization. So business teams like marketing or HR or product, they're going directly to AI tools, sometimes implemented by the organization, sometimes not. So as a result, localization teams are losing slightly a little bit of control. There's no visibility of how those tools are being used. Sometimes there's no consistency with the localization translation programs, and sometimes there's no governance. So what we are seeing is an emergence of a shadow AI model running in parallel to the enterprise. So the challenge is no longer adopting AI, is how do we enable AI first self-service without losing the control by the localization teams? And that's what we're trying to solve with AI translation app. So if you look at our approach is simple, don't stop the self-service, but actually bring it under control. So what we're doing is we provide a freemium self-service AI entry point to all of our clients. You can see some of the features on the right-hand side on the demo video that you can see there. So what our clients can do is any team can translate text, documents, even multimedia, video, and audio files instantly. Through our AI toolbox, the organization can actually customize the AI behavior. They can get quality estimation ratings. They can actually get post editing directly on the platform, automatic post editing, even add watermarks to the AI translated content to ensure transparency across the organization. So, and when accuracy matters, actually is a human escalation built in, and that human escalation is directly connected to the workflows of the localization team, so you're not losing that control. All of the platform is a secure enterprise environment, so single sign-on, there's file and user traceability, there's full compliance, and the platform features are all customizable. So what we've managed to do is the localization team becomes the governance layer for this case. So for example, they can define the prompts that are used for the quality rating. They can define the prompts that are used for the automatic post editing together with our team. We set the standards, and then we can also define the human escalation workflows together with the localization team. So in a way, the control is never lost anymore. So that instead of fragmentation, what it has is it helps us creating a control AI first operating model where the localization team is letting the user be AI first and feel that there is a self-service interaction. But at the background of that, there's a full control by the localization team, thanks to the customization of the different components, particularly the prompting. So clients so far love it. So what we've seen since we launched in October 2025 is we got over 700 clients using the service, about 15,000 document requests, about 20 million words, but more than anything as well, we've saved about $1 million to our clients because that's now work that is going on a self-service, AI first, and then moving into human later. So it's already enabling AI first self-service translation at scale, and it's still maintaining the enterprise control. So AI didn't remove localization in this case. It actually made control more important than ever. And the future of AI first is really to have that control back into the localization teams. So that's what we've done with AI translation app, and I hope that works in the 3 minutes. I didn't even see Dave having to. It is hard, Dave. You know me, man. It's hard for me. I mean, 3 minutes is how long it takes me to even say hello.
There's a few of us here who can talk for our country, I think. But well done, Antonio. Great job. Let's check for a question with Peter. Peter, do you have a question?
Antonio, it was really interesting.
Oh, who's going to grill me now? Peter is going to grill me now.
One of the things I'm curious is about when documents go for translation, how do you segment them? And what are the benefits of your approach to segmenting in the way you do it?
Yeah, we're actually not doing segmentation. We're going full document. So the AI translation app works at a document level, not at a segment level, when it comes to the document translation. So we're not. Is that the question, Peter? You were asking?
Yeah, but I'd also like you to mention what you think are the benefits of going that way, because I kind of guess
I think
going
on the document level rather than the segment level. Yeah, I think for us, the reason why we decided to do that is because it allows us to have an opportunity of not having to go into call it a cut tool or a segment tool. Like we can straight away apply directly at the document level. So it helps us with the formatting. It reduces the number of steps we need to do to the reformat document. And it helps us not having to do another cycle in the workflow. So directly, we're doing that at that level. Then when we create an escalation to human, then we send it to a normal workflow. So then that goes into segmentation, and then we provide it from there. And actually it goes into segmentation both using the source and target. So, but at the first level, even the QA rating, all of that is done at document level, not a segment level.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are getting more and more independent. Now let's go beyond self-service and increase that emphasis on independence and go open source. So let me invite Enzo Agosta, who's going to talk about an open source solution for handling any TMX file.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me correctly?
Yes.
All right. So, yes. First of all, yeah, I'm Enzo. Hi, everyone. Localization engineer. This is my first time presenting anything like this, so please forgive me if I'm a bit awkward or anything goes wrong. But yes, what I want to present today is a project that is dear to my heart, and that is called Hypomnema. So it is a Python library that is meant to standardize and simplify manipulating and doing basically anything and everything with a TMX file. Next slide, please. So first of all is, why did I even want to create something like this? And the main reason really is AI. AI is everywhere these days. Everyone uses it. Everyone who has 20 extra euros a month is using AI to create basically anything they want. And as we've seen, everything is becoming more and more self-service. Give it 2 to 5 years and people will just be building their own custom small tools, small automations, small pipelines for everything that they need. They won't really, I think, need the huge CAT tools and TMS systems that we all have these days. And the problem with that is, well, it's again AI. AI is unfortunately non-deterministic, and it can make errors, and it will. And unfortunately, the TMX standard, as much as it is very democratized and everyone uses it, there's barely any safety net into it. If you ask an AI to modify or edit your TM for any reason, it can mess the inline tags, it can mess up the strings inside of it. There's namespaces to deal with inside of it, which is a hell in and of itself. And nothing is there to catch you. And if you make any errors, or even worse, if your AI makes an error and you don't catch it, it will just silently be there. It will corrupt your TM. It will give you garbage data, and it's going to compound as many times as you run those tools. And give it a few times, and your TM is going to be complete garbage. No, I don't want to be an alarmist. This is not really a crisis yet, as the slide says, but the writing is on the wall, and we should think about this now. And this is why I built Hypomnema. It really, I think, gives us a way to solve this problem. So next slide, please. The way that it solves it is I created what I call a domain language. So when you give a TMX file to Hypomnema, it will give you back standard typed objects that represent the things in your translation memory. It's going to give you a translation memory object that has translation units, and each of those units have variants, and each of those has content, and everything is typed, and everything is validated, and everything is standardized and proper. What this means is that if it's an AI, it can use the incredible tools that we have today to deterministically know if the code that it's writing is correct. It can tell you, will it work or not? And if you're a human writing it, then it's going to tell you, it's going to give you autocomplete. You're going to write your code and your editor will complete the code for you. You don't even have to think about it. And it lets you build composable pipelines that are reusable for everything. If your code works on a TM and it does the thing you want it to, you can give it any other TM and it will just work. If the code says it will produce a TMX file that is proper, it will every single time. And it is built also in a way, just also last thing is, it's built in a way where it can it meant to handle literally any format. Today, it's only TMX, but it's already planned to give it JSON file to work on the web, CSV files to go anywhere else in Excel, pollers to be able to convert a TM into an embedding for an LLM, anything and everything. And of course, fully open source, fully free, fully no license. Just go on GitHub today, download it, use it.
Thank you. Thank you, Enzo. That's very interesting. Thank you for this because I've been through that hell, I can tell you. And I suspect so has been Tommaso, our third dragon who couldn't join today. But he has left a question for you. And his question is the following. He's asking, you mentioned the library isn't in production yet, so has it been validated against the real world TM data? Because there can be hidden, surprises there, as you surely know. So have you tested it on large sample of TMX file from different cat tools? That's important. And what did you find? What were the most surprising edge cases that you discovered?
So I'll say yes and no, in the sense that it's a project that I'm building by myself on my time off. I work at Ninja as a localization engineer today, but this is open source. This is something that I do by myself because it's a passion project of mine. So I did test it on kind of TMX files that I could find over the internet, or at least TMX files where I anonymized the content, taken it from work because, I can't really use work data and work translations into something that is open source. I've found that every tool does the same thing differently. MemoQ will have MemoQ XLIF with its own MemoQ namespace. SDL does its own thing. I've seen WordFast does its own thing. The big problem that I run into is that everyone does the same thing differently. So building a system that can accommodate everything has been a challenge. Up to now, I have built it in such a way that for now, and as long as your TM is compliant with the TMX standard, it will work. It might not work perfectly. The results might need some massaging, but it will work as long as it is correct TMX. I plan to build adapters specifically for those kinds of files later in the future. But if anyone wants to, if anyone in other company today is interested, go give me help. Like, it is open source. I accept contributions. But yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I love it that it's open source. So thank you, Enzo. Let's move on to our next innovator. Let me invite George Zhao, who is changing topic. Now we are moving to video localization, which is the big thing currently on everybody's mind. George, show us what you have.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is George Zhao from Video Localize. Our innovation is Zero-Upfront-Cost AI video localization solution for global libraries. Next slide, please. So videos are very important for global business. They use videos to introduce new products to train the customers. So this is an example from Hunter Landscape Irrigation. On their YouTube channel, they have over 500 videos. On the top right screenshot is their website. They link their videos to their website. So Hunter has a multilingual website with 10 languages other than English. So this is the Spanish page. So on the Spanish page, video looked like localized, but it's actually not. If you click on one of them, so videos are still playing in English. So why business don't translate and localize their video library? Because it's large amount. So in this case, 500 videos, multiple 10 languages, there will be 5,000 videos. So the cost will be very high. Next slide, please. Okay, here comes our innovation. So Video Localize created a multilingual video player to be installed into the customer's website. Please play the video. So, language button will be introduced, and let's click on French. So when French is clicked, the video player calls our AI dubbing API to translate and dub the video on demand. So after a couple of minutes, the French video can be played. Next slide, please. So let's summarize our innovation. So our innovation is straightforward. So Video Localize created a multilingual video player for customers to embed on their website, and it calls AI dubbing API to translate video only on demand. So this brings us a new business model. So when customer embed in the video player, they don't pay anything. So customers only pay the first time one of the videos being translated into one of the target language. So this makes it possible for customers to make the whole video library multilingual ready without pay anything upfront. That's it. That's our innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Great on time, by the way, bang on. And great to see you back at the PIC. For anyone who doesn't know, George was at the first Process Innovation Challenge and won it, by the way. Veronique, do we have a question for George?
Sure. Very interesting, and I love the business model. I have a question about that, George.
Sure.
So you kind of defer cost until usage or playback, if I can call it like this. So what happens when suddenly you've got like spikes in multiple languages? How do you manage this for your clients so that costs don't become prohibitively expensive?
What
I mean is that you don't pay upfront.
Mm-hmm.
You pay once it's being quote unquote used, right? I'm saying,
Yeah.
What happens in terms of the business model if you've got massive views, right, in French and in Italian and in Hindi? How do you ensure that suddenly the cost doesn't become super expensive for your clients?
Okay, so the customer only paid the first time when one of the videos being translated. So
Okay.
on the demo, so there are some green buttons of some languages. That means the video has been translated before. So customers don't pay for already translated up the video. So they only pay once. For the example for hunters, they have 5,000 videos, so they only pay the 5,000 videos. That's the maximum, but customers can also make cap of the cost.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was really super, super interesting. So let's move on to our next innovator, Nicola Mattina from Radical, who is gonna give us a very smart solution how to avoid retranslating entire content when only something small has changed. Nicola, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So, first of all, I've been working in localization for just 3 years, so I can say I'm like a virgin in this industry. But I come from like 20 years of building products, enterprise products, and I sold a company to Apple too. And during my last 3 years at Translated, I redesigned from the ground up an enterprise platform that today processes translations for big corporations like Airbnb, Uber, Glovo, and others. Now, I have a radical idea of what's happening in localization right now, because this is an industry that was built around outsourcing human translators. So the entire tech stack exists to optimize that model. And you cannot address a paradigm shift by adding a sprinkle of AI on top of platforms that were designed for a completely different world. Now, if you think about it, we have AI that understands an entire document, and we're still feeding it one segment at a time. And I see three levels of radical change in this industry. Next. So the first level of radical change is that you can build your own tech stack. For the project that I'm presenting, I built a custom translation management system in 8 hours using Lovable. It's simple, but it tracks translation status per locale and manages the full content life cycles. The advantages is that you don't have to figure out how to adapt your processes to a TMS, but it's the other way around. So you build your TMS to adapt to your processes. Next. The second level of radical change that I see is that you can redefine what happens around translation. And in my system, I use generative AI to determine what actually changed in the source content and classify the input. So in this case, I used Google Gemini, and Google Gemini tells me that in that case, there is a major update and I need to review the Italian translation. Now, I will send this content to the translation pipeline, and we will meet the third level of radical change. Next slide, which is we need to redefine the translation itself. So in this case, I'm not using a TMS anymore or a CAT tool, but I'm using Diffie, which is an open source platform that is built to run agentic systems. So I'm building the translation process around agentic system. And what you can see here is a chain of prompt that translates, does cultural check, and complete the translation. Each language gets its own agentic system. And of course, this will require a radical reskill of translators that will need to manage this kind of systems. Next. Now, if you see the generative, next slide. Now, if you see the generative AI as a faster or cheaper translator, you're thinking like an expert. And right now, that means that you are either asking for discount or selling discounts, and you're squeezing translators to fund these savings. But this is a paradigm shift, and the real opportunity starts when you start looking at the stuff like a virgin.
Rock on. That's what I say, Nicola. Let's see if Peter has a question for you.
Hi, Nicola. It's very interesting. I love your photograph here. Is the way you improve quality through having a separate agentic approach for each language pair? Is that the core to how you improve quality?
Yeah, of course, because depending on the language, you could need different kind of adaptation. And also you could also need different kind of references and knowledge base that you can use to perform a better translation. Now, if you think in terms of translation memories, glossaries, you're thinking in terms of an ancient stuff. That will not work with AI. You're using a generative AI as a more advanced neural machine translation, but this is a paradigm shift, and you need to think completely different.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I loved your radical transformation throughout the presentation. Yes, that was radical. Some magic going on there. And talking about magic and wizards, let me invite our last innovator for today, Andreas Ljungström from XTM, who's gonna present to us an XTM migration wizard that can migrate your TMX just within days. I'm curious, Andreas.
Thank you, Marina. I'm Andreas from XTM. We found a way to turn one of the slowest parts of localization into one of the fastest. Next slide, please. Do you remember Professor Baltasar? When his friends had a problem, he didn't call a meeting or draft a 5-year plan. He walked his machine, he thought, and drop. Out came a solution. When I look at TMS migrations, I realized that we don't need more consultants. We need a Balthasar moment. Most localization teams think the hardest part of changing a TMS is choosing the new platform. In reality, the hardest part is moving the old data. TMX is a standard, but in reality, it's a 20-year-old legacy of broken XML, inconsistent language codes, and files from different tools that all behave differently. So when companies try to migrate, the process breaks. Teams spend weeks cleaning files manually or months waiting for professional services to just move their data. This is where your global strategy stalls before it even begins. Next slide, please. So I went to the drawing board. I didn't wait for a roadmap, I just built it. And out came XTM Migration Wizard. It's a lightweight orchestration layer that prepares TMX data before it ever reaches the TMS. It splits multilingual files, it normalizes language codes, it fixes XML issues automatically. So instead of fixing problems after they appear, I asked a different question. What if we prepare the data before the system ever sees it? From the user perspective, it's really simple. You drag in your TMX files, the wizard processes them, and everything is created and validated automatically. What used to take weeks now runs automatically in minutes. And this is not just a migration tool. It's a pre-processing orchestration layer designed for broken real-world data. Next slide, please. For one large LSP, thousands of TMX files meant a 3-month onboarding delay. That was the estimation for moving their data. We replaced that manual grind with a single automated step, collapsing months into just 3 days. 72 hours of orchestration with zero data loss. We turned that delay into immediate production. Migration is no longer a roadblock. It is the high-speed launch pad for your global growth. Migration should not be the slowest part of localization. It should be the moment things start moving faster. The idea behind the XTM Migration Wizard is simple. Fix the messy parts of migration before they slow everyone down. Maybe what we needed wasn't more process. We just needed a Balthasar moment.
We needed a Balthasar moment. I thought you were going to say we needed a bigger boat, Andreas. Fantastic. Really good on time, by the way. Really interesting. Veronique, do you have a question for Andreas?
Yeah, fantastic. I once saw a migration that took 2 years, so your 3 months even look good in that respect. Thank you, Andreas, for a great presentation. I have a question. You addressed data loss. What about guaranteeing data integrity at scale? If you take edge cases, I don't know, take a source segment that may have different translations, and you may not have the metadata around context, et cetera, et cetera. How do you handle this data integrity at scale?
So the tool actually monitors how much it imports. So it'll always count before and after. So we make sure that nothing is lost. So that part is done during the behind the scenes in the calculation of the tool itself. And then, as I mentioned, it will also try to auto-fix certain issues, the classic being, as Enzo mentioned earlier, language codes that differ between TMSs. So we normalize that part as well under the hood.
So there's a mini TM cleanup integrated in there as well, of the simplest kind of technical issues. That was so interesting.
I thought he was going to have a magic wand, Marina, on stage. That would have been, boom, done.
He had the magic drop that he dropped into his coffee, Andreas. Now I'm curious what will happen if you drink it.
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
Let's see. You'll migrate somewhere else, probably. Dave,
Excellent.
amazing innovations. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Andreas wraps us up for today. We're back in tomorrow, so let's just do a quick recap first. This is what we saw today. Our dragons have the very tough job, and you know the way people say very tough, actually really mean it, don't we, Marina? Of going through all of these and finding 6 finalists for the final, which will be in
That's
June
not
in
gonna
Dublin.
be easy. No, we saw very strong innovation. So I'm happy I'm not a dragon, but I got to ask one question. So just for a second, for a little while, I felt like one.
All roads lead to Dublin in June. That's what we're talking about. These preliminaries are targeted towards that. I'd like to thank everyone for innovating today and pitching. Well done, everyone. It's tough. 3 minutes, as Antonio said. It's tougher than you think. Great job done. Thank you to our dragons. And with that, we will wrap today's session and wish you a great afternoon and evening. I just realized I wasn't sharing slides. Okay. That's where we're going. That should be
Yes.
what you saw.
Ciao.
Good stuff. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.